Right, quick word on the game then. Surrey have won the toss. They're going to bat. Good time to bat.
Well,
good decision
I'm not
to bat.
sure. I mean, we saw the game last night down at Somerset. You know, Somerset bowled brilliantly with a new ball. It went all over the place. Hampshire, the champions, got knocked over for nothing. Middlesex will be hoping that this is their best chance. You catch a team cold like Surrey, you bowl particularly well with the new ball, you maybe give yourselves a chance. The pitch looked like it might have a little bit in it, so they have. Middlesex would much prefer it if it went all over the place playing against this Surrey team, let me tell you.
I'm not sure it's going to go all over the place, but there is a short boundary, and Sunil Narayan will open the batting with Will Jacks with Jason Roy's injury. Nas is with Ath.
Sunshine at Lord's for the London Derby, one of the signature fixtures of the year, and usually encourages a huge turnout here at the home of cricket. We're right at the start of the blast, of course, for this year. And it's Middlesex against Surrey. Middlesex have had a bit of a struggle in the championship, so we'll be looking forward to a change of format. Surrey riding high, of course, top of the table and by some distance, and look to be in very good order as a club. They've had a bit of a problem, though, just before the start of this game, because Jason Roy just tweaked his calf by the looks of it, either in warm-ups or just doing a little bit of fielding practice, so they had to make a late change. It was a rather out of puff Sam Curran that came over to the toss at 2 or 3 minutes late, because they had that late change, and it looks like Sunil Narayan has come up to the top of the order alongside Will Jacks, who made such a good impression for England in the winter. Surrey won the toss here. They decided to bat first. The statistics of late at Lord's suggest that batting first is the way to go. We have a very short side down to the mound stand, away from the grandstand. That's a short side, so for Jacks, it'll be hitting to the offside. That's where the short side is. A couple of players of note for Middlesex. Nathan Fernandez, young 19-year-old England under-19 player, making his debut today. Blake Cullen back after a year of frustration, a year of injury, so good to see him back. But on paper, at least, it looks like it could be a tricky fixture for Middlesex, shall we say. Here's Tom Helm. Evening, Nas.
Good evening, Michael. Yep, looking forward to this one. Always love a derby in the blast. And we have a London derby, and the sun is out at the home of cricket. On paper, Surrey looked the stronger side, but obviously with the injury to Roy, a late rejig, albeit Sunil Narayan has opened in franchise cricket all round the world. So he's used to the role he's been given today with Surrey.
And there's just a little bit of movement there for Tom Helm. One or two of these players, particularly in the Middlesex side, have had a struggle in the early stages of the year in the championship. Tom Helm would be one of those. But a change of format, change of look. That was a nice delivery, just moving away down the hill.
Yeah, my feeling is the white balls this year have just done that little bit more, actually. We saw that low-scoring game yesterday. Lancashire bowled well today as well in the early start. So I think they do just nibble and swing early on. And again, not just a case of hitting through the line, that is for certain. Obviously, you have the slope here as well. And a bit of sideways movement. We don't know how long for, but while you've got it, attack. And that's what Middlesex are doing. 2 slips in now. In fact, they may go to 3. They do go to 3 slips.
And that was an emphatic response by Will Jacks to that 3rd slip coming in. It was a very powerful shot down the ground, a good-looking shot. But,
3 slips and a long off, Bath, eh?
Yeah. Just looking at Martin Anderson down there, I thought he might have dislocated his finger then. I think he might have done. He made the stop down at long off, and a good stop. Looks like he's either split his webbing or dislocated his little finger. Jack Davies is the substitute fielder, just replacing Martin Anderson. Eskenazi has kept the 3 slips in. Obviously Helm wants to try and pitch the ball up to find that movement away from the bat. Instead he spears one down the leg side, and a comfortable wide signalled.
And immediately with that ball going down the leg side, again a change in the field. That third slip comes up to give him a bit of cover on the leg side.
It's beaten point and flies away to that short side. It would have probably reached the boundary of the other side, such was the pace that it was going, but just gives you an indication of how short this boundary is.
The way he stays leg side of the ball here, Will Jacks, he doesn't try and get in line with it, he just stays leg side of it. If anything, if you watch his back leg, it moves to the leg side there to open up the offside. Really good batting, just timed it sweetly.
And very quickly 3 slips has become 1. Leading edge, and it splits those 2 men just behind square. One is Fernandez and Holden the other. So an eventful first over finishes with 9 on the board.
Sure was. 1 slip went to 2 slips, went to 3 slips, then an injury. Beautiful square drive and a bit of a leading edge as well. Work continues from the physio on Anderson's little finger there. He'll be desperate to get back out. Curran brothers, Laurie Evans, Smith, Clark, Overton, Abbott, Atkinson and Laws was the side that was eventually selected from Surrey. They've been in good form in championship cricket.
To ball from the pavilion ends, number 19, Blake Cullen.
So Blake Cullen will open at the other end from Helm, coming in from the pavilion end. Burst onto the scene the year before last, summer before last, and had stress fractures. It's an old tale really for young and developing fast bowlers, but good to see him back. And like Helm, even though he slightly falls away in his delivery stride, he'll tend to take it away from the right-hander or back into Narayan.
And Narayan loves to open up the offside, and obviously that is the shorter hit. So he's going to have to be tight with his line. Narayan often just gives himself a bit of room and flays it through that square cover region.
Very quick turnaround for those who have been in the IPL. Narayan won, of course, with KKR and Sam Curran with the Punjab Kings, 1 or 2 others as well. Just get back, change of environment, change of team, change of conditions, but these days it's something that the players are very used to doing.
Only 2 fielders allowed out in this power play, and they have a long on, Middlesex, which is unusual, with Cullen swinging it away. You can see Jacks there indicating to Narayan there is a bit of swing. So you'd think the sweeper would go out offside, but in fact they've chosen sweepers leg side, deep square and long on.
Oh, only 1 slip. It's an edge and wide of slip. We saw 3 slips for Helm. Very quickly that went down to 1. Cullen only has 1. Had he had a second, he might have been in business.
Yeah, he gave it a chance to swing, that is for certain. He opened the face for the reason I gave, that there are no fielders out on the offside, so he's trying to open up the offside. A little bit streaky, a little bit finer than he wanted, but it's obvious what he's trying to do.
Shake of the head. Jacks really feels he missed out there. All that offside open, nobody out sweeping, and it was a long half volley, really, just gently arcing away.
I think this is a better field. They've changed it now. Long on comes up and long off goes back. An extra fielder on the offside on the boundary.
Drilled wide of mid-on, between mid-on and the straight mid-wicket. Jacks finishes the second over with a boundary, 18 for none. Not a bad crowd, but nowhere near full.
That's two. Right arm over.
It's a fixture that has produced sellouts here in the past. We're not quite there yet. Much earlier in the season, of course. And it's still a bit cool here in London. Maybe Will Jacks can heat things up out in the middle. He's certainly played a few shots. He's 16 from 10, 3 boundaries already. And Narain just pumps a full toss down the ground. Didn't quite time it, but hit it firmly enough.
Yeah, got his length all wrong there, especially since it's doing a bit. He'd probably stick with length for a little while. He went for the Yorker. If it was absolutely flat and gun barrel straight, you would change your length. But with Narain being on naught, I would stick to bowling back of a length and make him do something special.
Good stop, good diving stop. Ryan Higgins at extra cover. One of the few players who's had a reasonable time of it in the Championship. Came back from Gloucestershire. He started his career here at Lords, of course.
When you're bowling.
When you look at the two teams on paper, Surrey look very strong, but in particular their bowling lineup looks much stronger than Middlesex's. Laws, Atkinson, Abbott, Narain, Curran, Jordan Clark. There's a lot of experience there. There are the respective teams. Surrey's bowling immediately stands out there. Well, he followed him, but it's smart batting. Will Jacks gave himself a lot of room outside. Leg stomp there. Helm deliberately tried to go with him, and then he just helped it around the corner.
Yeah, he's a really good cricketer, Will Jacks. You try and protect the offside, so you follow him, but he's too good. He'll take you on leg side as well. His stock has risen in all formats, Will Jacks. Very handy cricketer.
And he's striking at 181 here. Narain is 5 off 6, Jacks 20 off 11, so Middlesex will be keen to keep him away from the strike, but at the moment he is really going some. That's a low full toss that he has drilled to the short side, admittedly, but flat and straight into the crowd.
Yeah, didn't understand the lengths at all in that over. On a pitch that just did a little bit for his previous over, they're 2 full tosses. and 3 of the other 4 deliveries were very full. It was almost like a plan, we're going Yorkers, which in a power play against a player like Jacks is very dangerous.
Held a lovely shape there. The temptation always when you're looking to hit hard at the top of the order is that bottom hand right side comes in, but he held a beautiful shape, looking to deliberately go to the short side. So he's 26 from 12, Surrey are 33 from 3. It's a very good start with a lot of batting to come. Well, at the moment, Narayan's the man you want to be bowling to.
Whatever you say about the delivery and the length, here's the point that Michael Atherton was making. In a power game, keep your head still and keep your shape, and that's exactly what Jacks did.
It's lively, actually. That carried through nicely to Simpson, who's standing a fair distance back. So Cullen has got half a yard. He's kind of wiry and quite lively.
And that's why I bowl that sort of length, splice to the bat. I mean, hit that over extra cover for 6 if you can. Splice to the bat all the time. Been a bit full here.
Full and 4.
Full again. Why would you change your length? Just keep hitting the top, the bails. If it's up, it's off in this format. In a power play, that was right in a slot of a batter who's just struggling, trying to get a boundary. This is exactly where he wants it. Thank you very much.
Where did the ball go? Has it gone down the gunnel, gone down the tunnel into the Harris Gardens where they're all drinking champagne at the back? I think it did. Straight down that gap. It's normally where we find UNAS on a test match morning, just a glass of Bucks Fizz before the start of play. Passing small talk with the members, just your scene. Better length from Cullen.
That will sting as well. He hit that onto his ankle. Slightly cooler than it's been in India. Inside edge onto the ankle. Well, it might be knee actually. Sore.
Yeah, the last 2 deliveries, I think Cullen has realised after that 4 was drilled down the ground to try and hit the pitch, and to the left-hander he's bowling to the long side as well, so it makes double sense really.
And that's where you got to be thinking on your feet, because now Surrey would have realised, okay, he's dragged his length back, so someone like Will Jacks would be sitting back, maybe expecting it. It is hard in the power play. It is hard being a white ball bowler with the skills on show from the batters.
Yorker to finish, and Jacks will have the strike. 39 for none off 4. Sunrise was playing here earlier in the day this afternoon, and there was a few in watching. Gradually though, the crowd is building up as people come in after work. It's a pleasant evening, still a bit chilly, not quite a high summer evening, but as always for this fixture a very decent turnout.
Yeah, Did you hear Morgan and Butcher before the game? They were building it up like the El Clasico or something. It's Middlesex, Surrey. It's not the battle of the bridge between Essex and Kent or a Roses game. Owen Morgan was going on about it. The biggest game. He's the bloke who won the World Cup on this ground.
Now, here's a test for this young man, Nathan Fernandez. A debut today. He's just 19 years of age, joined the staff this year. He's played a bit for England under 19s. He's more of a batter than a bowler, but it's quite a challenge at that age, bowling to Will Jacks. Sunil Narine, one short side. Good luck, young man.
Yeah, Narine will be eyeing up that short side, hitting with the spin now.
And he's picked up a wicket. He's been gifted a wicket, really, because it's a low full toss. And with his second ball in senior cricket, Nathan Fernandez has a smile as wide as the Thames, because he's picked up the wicket of Sunil Narine.
It was a very low-key celebration. I was expecting him to be running round Lords. His first wicket on debut. Tried to get it under the bat of Narine, knowing that Narine was going to go for the big slog sweep. And it ended in the big smile from Fernandez. So Narine goes for 10, 40 for 1.
The new batter for Surrey is number 58, Sam Curran.
Well, for those of us a little long in the tooth, it's always hard to remember how nervous you are when you make your debut in the first team. He would have been nervous the first ball, full toss, second ball, full toss, but a wicket straight to Milan at extra cover, and that will settle his nerves.
Low-key celebration and a bit of a smile.
Now, Sam Curran, recently returned from IPL just at the weekend, captaining Surrey in the absence of Chris Jordan. He captained Kings 11 Punjab as well in the IPL, in at number 3.
On it. Yes, Nathan. Yes, Nathan. Well, nice. Well, nice.
Well, he's dropped it on a length after that full toss that picked up the wicket. He's right on a good length there, which should not necessarily always be a good thing in T20. Beats extra cover. For a moment I thought he was singing of the short side, and then he decided to just give himself a bit of room and punch it away offside.
Yeah, first one he's dragged down. Sam Curran is a good player, a spin. Pressed forward, leant back and just opened up that offside. Outfield is always quick at Lords, even up the slope.
Yes, Nate. Yes, Nate.
Well, he'll settle for that, I'm sure, with his first over. 1 for 6, 5 gone, 45 for 1.
Lords cool but resplendent here in late May. Sorry, winning the toss after an injury to Jason Roy minutes before the toss, and getting off to the sort of flyer that they were after. 9 and over with 1 over left in the power play. Middlesex have tried a combination of seam and spin. They now go to all-rounder Ryan Higgins. Stand-in skipper Sam Curran finds himself at the crease at number 3. Left-handed skipper of great note, Owen Morgan, is alongside me. Good evening to you.
Evening, Butch. Evening, everyone. Yeah, it's good to see him back. Stand-in skipper tonight, and was stand-in skipper for the Punjab Kings at this year's IPL. And actually did a really good job. Stand-in for Shikhar Dhawan. Took all the responsibility in high-pressured moments after going for a big price tag. Not an easy thing to do, but certainly it's great to see him back. And like Nasser mentioned, biggest game of the year, biggest fixture in English cricket, Middlesex, Surrey, Thursday evening.
Can't believe he brought up Kent, Essex, as a comparison. I mean, this ground's what, only half full, and there's more there than there would be at a game at Chelmsford. Thankfully, I'm not going to be at the Oval tomorrow when the Kent mob show up. John Simpson is going to come up to the stumps to Will Jacks. I think that's a pretty good idea. So he just had to trot off and put his helmet on. Jacks has just had a quiet period and away from the strike.
Where's it going?
He really got a strike rate up at 200.
Yeah.
And looks in very fine touch indeed.
On it. No.
We talked about the two teams on paper before the start of the show, but you mentioned sort of that feeling in the dressing room as a Middlesex player. Oh, crashed away. Not the best delivery from Ryan Higgins, but put away emphatically by Jacks.
Well, he's beautiful on the eye, Will Jacks. Scores all the way around the ground. Just gives himself a little bit of room. Watch how still his head is at the crease. Mix of power and timing.
Oh, slammed again up the hill, but it's there in a flash for extra cover. Surrey go beyond 50, 54 for 1. That's the power play done.
Well, wasn't a great start with Middlesex persisting with full and straight. Anderson dislocating his fingers, continued to be off the field. Momentum, Will Jacks, little bit of luck. Just finds batting very, very easy at the moment, albeit aided by some helpful bowling. Sunil Ryan chipped one down the ground, and then his low full toss resulted in his demise. Fernandez's first wicket, T20 cricket.
Yeah, it worked, didn't it? Introducing the young lad Nathan Fernandez into the left-handed Narayan. You just think, well, that's a recipe for disaster, but he picked him up, and now he's been removed from the attack. Sam Curran comes out, and he's known as a destructive player of spin. He's got a leg break bowler now in Luke Holman to have a go at. Oh, that ball just flashed between the fingers of the man at extra cover. It was travelling at a rate of knots, but half a chance for the skipper Eskenazi.
Well, I think it was half a chance. Sam Curran very quick to get onto the back foot, climbs into it. Oh, definitely a half a chance. And at 58 for 1, you need to be taking those.
And Curran on the back foot, getting back to that about Middlesex. They'd be the underdogs here, but that can sometimes spur a team on. How would you go about raising the troops under those circumstances?
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant view here. Eskenazi is going straight through both hands. I think it has the ability to galvanise a team on big nights like tonight. Play against a star-studded lineup that Surrey, I feel that even with the likes of Chris Jordan, Reece Topley, Jason Roy not playing,
Leading edge. First indecisive stroke we've seen from Jacks all night.
yeah, just holding a little bit on the surface. Leading edge.
Dragged down and banged over mid-wicket. That's gone all the way for 6. Not going to get away with that length, the Will Jacks.
Well, this held in the wicket as well. Was a lot shorter. And to a batter in form like Will Jacks, he's not going to miss out on this. Targeting square at Lords. Shorter.
Holman was impressive in the recent 4-day game at the Oval. Seemed dominated match, but Holman was brought in to the attack late on. Bowled with good control. He's trying to bowl the ball into the pitch, not allow batters get underneath him, but he was just too short on that occasion. Jacks is very quick on his feet this evening. Seven gone, 67 for 1. So a late change for Surrey saw Sunil Narine take a place at the top of the order. Severely injured Jason Roy. He must have twisted an ankle, shades of Glenn McGrath perhaps in an Ashes year. Most famous stepped upon cricket ball in that great Ashes series meant that Roy missed out. Narine took his place at the top of the order. Jordan Clark, I think, was not slated in the 11 previous to the toss. Found himself with a gig in the side. Rory Adams, Tom Curran padded up. Anderson with his first venture to the bowling crease. High full toss. Rather surprised, Jacks. Ground still filling up here at Lords. Decent hum around, slightly different to the one you might find at the Test match on Thursday. England-Ireland, of course.
Suspect we'll see a little bit more consumption.
Oh, that could be a chance. Oh, that's brilliant. That is quite brilliant. Tom Helm with the diving, tumbling catch at long on. And that is to be the end of Will Jacks. He was looking ominous.
Excellent fielding from Tom Helm. First ball, Will Jacks hasn't timed. Nose straight away. Helm anticipates, moves low. Takes an outstanding catch to take the second wicket. Will Jacks goes for 43, Surrey 68 for 2.
The new batter for Surrey, number 59, Tom Curran.
Disappointed Will Jacks, but didn't quite get the timing nor the elevation that he was after, and Helm just kept his head stock still. Eyes lasered in on that ball. And it dropped beautifully into both hands. Mike Atherton hiding for cover in the corner. Middlesex needed that. That's a really handy breakthrough. New batter in will be Tom Curran, the brothers together out there in the middle. He's stepped away from playing red ball cricket. Now Tom Curran, his body has not been able to keep up with the rigours of it. He'll now concentrate very much on his one-day T20 career. Jack shakes his head. Jamie Smith and Laurie Evans still to come for Surrey, preferring the all-rounders, the big hitting all-rounders in this early part of the innings. It's an excellent over from Anderson. Run away down the hill. Excellent effort. Joe Cracknell with the diving stop. 3 from the last ball of the over. The umpires will want to check it. I think it was okay. 8 overs gone, 71 for 2. It's worth having another look at this catch from Tom Helm. Difficult sometimes here at Lord's with the way that the gradients work on the ground, just to judge things perfectly in the outfield. Slow ball came out of the knuckles of Anderson and went into the palms of Helm. Tom Curran finds the gap nicely. Good little period this for Middlesex.
Yeah, really good Butch. Opportunity for them to speed up the game as a skipper and as a team, particularly as underdogs. Look at opportunities to speed the game up at various times. Certainly this is one. I like this, the left arm spinner back into the attack. And moments like this, while Surrey are trying to keep the scoreboard moving, you can sneak in 2 or 3 overs. So very, very important for your man on screen, Steve Eskenazi, to make sure there's a level of hustle and apply pressure.
Nicely done. When you say speed up the game, explain that for the viewers.
Yeah, so various times, particularly in shorter formats of the game, T20, you need to slow the game down majority of the time. So opportunities to speed it up when there is pressure on the opposition. So the wicket that has just fallen, a new batsman at the crease, a possible couple of dots.
So in essence, you're just trying to rattle through a few overs, get through a few deliveries before the 2 set batters realise it, that they've got fewer overs of the game left.
Absolutely, and if Tom Curran looks up at the scoreboard, he's faced 10 balls, is only on 11 or is 8 off 8. Pressure builds on his innings then. So the opportunity for Middlesex is here and now. If these 2 guys get going, find a boundary, regain momentum, that opportunity is gone, dead and buried. Good over so far.
Brilliant. Aided and abetted by some last-ditch fielding. That's a really good over again for Middlesex and Fernandez. 9 overs gone, 74 for 2. One or 2 new introductions to the ground here at Lord's, not least the sensory room, which has been installed to help people, regardless of age, that have sensory processing disorders such as autism and dyspraxia. The disorientating nature of big crowds can sometimes become overwhelming for people, and therefore there is a sensory room. I believe there's one at Edgbaston, and perhaps even one at Old Trafford as well, just to make the game as accessible to as many people as possible.
Oh!
Double spin is working like a charm here for Middlesex. Slightly charmed piece of action there for Tom Curran, as that one somehow misses the stumps and somehow misses John Simpson's gloves. You don't see that often.
No, you don't. He's an excellent gloveman. I like this move from Eskenazi. Double spin. Tom Curran takes a risk going across the line to try and target that short boundary.
Roger. Yes. Help me.
Partnership 11 from 11. Middlesex doing a terrific job here. Eskenazi just ringing the changes, speeding the game up, as Owen Morgan says.
I think also Butch presents an opportunity. Any half chance here or there, unnecessary risk possibly taken from Sam Curran. Pressure building on him as well. 15 off 15. Brother 6 from 8. Sense a big shot coming again.
Oh, crunched away. That has been hit very hard indeed. Just a little release of pressure.
Well, this is pure timing. Will certainly calm any nerves. It's not a bad ball from Holman. It's excellent shot from Tom Curran. Picks the length, hits through the line beautifully.
Slightly interesting, I suppose, that with Laurie Evans and Jamie Smith in the lineup, that they would send Tom Curran out at this period. You see Tom Curran more as somebody that will bang it at the backhand than do a number 4's job.
Single to take us past the halfway stage, or at the halfway stage. 86 for 2.
Decent crowd here at the home of cricket on a pleasant evening, if a little fresh at times when that breeze whips through Lords. It's about that time of the evening, isn't it? So 86 for 2. Surrey won the toss earlier. Sam Curran captaining Surrey decided to bat. Innings given a flyer by Will Jacks. The batting order that had to be rejigged to a late injury to Jason Roy. Anderson again. Carved away and third man is up. Curran's been in for a while now, Sam that is. Maybe time to hit the gas.
Yeah, it's been quite a good 5 or 6 overs for Middlesex, really. Surrey got to 40 off 4, and then the brakes were applied as a wicket fell in the 5th and then one in the 8th. It's taken Sam Curran and Tom Curran just a bit of time to get going, so Middlesex much happier at the end of the 10th than they were at the end of the 5th. Got to try and keep that pressure on.
What have you made of the batting lineup that Surrey have gone in with Sam Curran at 3, Tom Curran at 4, 2 out-and-out batsmen really in Evans and Smith at 5 and 6, and then Jamie Overton, who I understand is just playing as a batter because of that stress fracture he's coming back from.
Well, with a short side, it might have been something to do with the left hand, right hand, so Sam Curran up the order. I suppose the other thing to say about Laurie Evans and Jamie Overton is their lack of cricket for one reason and another. Laurie Evans has been playing some second 11 cricket. I think he's played 4 second 11 T20s, but has not played first team cricket since the end of last summer. Jamie Overton injured, as you say.
You mentioned that good passage of play from Middlesex. I wholeheartedly agree, and it was actually some terrific cricket that brought the dismissal of Will Jacks, who was going like a train. Very clever knuckleball from Anderson, and one of the better outfield catches you'll see from Tom Helm. He's dragged it back for Middlesex. Surrey will be pushing hard here. Decent half stop and a mix-up between the brothers. Safe enough in the end in the back garden.
Yeah, Eskenazi wasn't sure which end to throw. Probably the non-striker's end was the preferred option, but he looked to be in two minds as he was in mid-air about to throw. But there was a mix-up, and Curran for a while looked as though he was in trouble.
Which one?
Tom.
It's one of those things where Eskenazi, extra cover, really needed someone to help him out. 92 for 2. What I mean by that, you need someone to just shout which end, not run him out. That's no good to anyone. Tell him it's got to be the non-strikers if you can. That's where he needed a call.
Anything under 200 at the start of the day, particularly with that start Surrey got, Middlesex would settle for. They've got a stronger batting lineup, I would say, than bowling. Bowling is where they look thin, but of course conversely for Surrey you'd say they look very strong in bowling.
And he didn't hold back on that, he just didn't connect. Oh, he's got that up and over. Wow, that's gone a long way. I think they're going to check whether that went for 6. That was an extraordinary shot from Tom Curran.
It was, because he was so far from the ball. I'm just going to slow this down and see where it lands. Milan was sprinting across but couldn't get there, and it looks like one bounce forward. It travelled a long way given how far from the ball Tom Curran was.
Slapped away through extra cover. That is a fabulous shot. Well, I'm not sure we'll see a better shot played tonight.
Yeah, high class. Hit one off the spinner Luke Holman like this, but a bit quicker from Ryan Higgins. Not a quick bowler by any means, but certainly quicker than Holman, and that's a hard shot to play off the back foot over extra cover.
Oh, he's hit that as well. That sounded magnificent. 4-4-4 for Surrey and Tom Curran.
Yeah, even though the short side is to the leg side, Curran clearly feels that his favoured option is give himself room. He's been given room as well there by Higgins, and he fair belted that through extra cover.
Then ran straight down the middle of the pitch. And again, and this is going to spin away from the fielder on the fence. What an over this is for Surrey.
Yeah, trying to protect the short side, bowling to the long side, but it's not working for Higgins, who's now leaked 4 consecutive boundaries all through the offside.
Well, it was pace off, as you say, trying to keep it away from the short leg side, but Tom Curran waited beautifully on that. And that's gone through again. 5 boundaries in the over. What an over for Tom Curran and Surrey. 112 for 2.
Yeah, it's an over Surrey needed, and Middlesex didn't, having done so well in the second 5 overs up to the 10 over mark. Suddenly Surrey marching on again. 5 consecutive boundaries, 20 from the over. And there's a lot of batting to come as well now for the last 8 overs.
Comfortably the best over of the game so far for Surrey, despite Will Jacks getting off to a flyer in his innings of 43 from 22.
Returning to bowl at the nursery end, number 19, Blake Cullen.
So Blake Cullen will bowl from the nursery end. First couple of overs went for 14. Eskenazi, Owen Morgan were talking about putting a bit of pace into the game, bowling the spin of Nathan Fernandez. Just slowed it down there a little bit.
Mentioned those back injuries that Blake Cullen suffered at. He played in the 100 the year before. A lot of short form cricket the year before, a combination of blast and 100, and spent most of the time whacking the ball into the middle of the pitch.
Dropped. That flew off the bat of Sam Curran. I have to say that was a chance, albeit a difficult one, and it's gone from bad to worse because that's been signalled as a no ball. Looked like quite a big one. Oh yeah, should have been taken.
Free hit.
So we've got a free hit. Field can't change. Sam Curran remains on strike. Well, he hasn't hit out the middle of the bat, so it won't go for 4. A couple off the free hit. Couple brings up the 50 partnership in good time off 30 balls.
Yeah, particularly the last over or 2 just started to get going. Took a while to find their feet, perhaps unsurprisingly for Sam Curran, who's only just back into the country. He's not short of game time, but they're very different conditions, of course.
Wee bit of jet lag as well, maybe.
Yeah, they're used to it now, though, aren't they? They just change team to team, franchise to franchise, get on with it.
Beautifully timed. So Peter Milan fielding away on the point boundary, had to defend the boundary, allowing Curran to come back for a couple. Does he not feel the cold, Milan? Just a shirt. Breeze is whistling through Lords.
Good to see him playing, actually. He injured his knee, didn't he, in the last televised game that we did down at the Oval, a championship game.
Well, current run rate takes Surrey to just a tick under 190. And that's a decent score wherever you put it. Laurie Evans on the card to come in next, then Jamie Smith, then Jamie Overton. Good to see him back playing cricket.
Looking to go wide. Looking to go wide.
Given as wide, Cullen looks slightly bemused. Very tight call. Still only 21, isn't he, Blake Cullen?
Yeah, he'll have just either finished or be finishing his university degree.
That's good bowling. Very good.
So many young bowlers, and Pat Cummins would be the standout example of bowlers who struggled with back injuries or bone injuries as they're growing and developing, and then they get through that stage, become a bit stronger and a bit more used to the rigors of fast bowling, and hopefully get through it and then have a long career ahead of them.
Big gaps there. Huh? Big gaps.
Last ball of the 13th over. That's a very decent over, certainly given what happened in the previous over. 122 for 2, 7 to go.
Yeah, long day. But pop in on my way on.
Sam Curran is 28 not out, his brother Tom 32. This partnership is 54, and Surrey have plenty of batting in the shed.
Number 18, Nathan Fernandez.
Got some strong hitters still to come in Laurie Evans, Jamie Smith, Jordan Clark of course, and Jamie Overton. I'm sure Nathan Fernandez has loved his first experience of T20 cricket for Middlesex. A wicket in his first over. He's bowling to the left-handed Sam Curran, so if Curran is going to heave away leg side, he's got to hit to the bigger boundary. Fernandez round the wicket. Curran goes down the ground, stands and admires it, and admire it he might. That's a stunning hit into the pavilion.
Yeah, what Fernandez did well, in fact, after his first 2 balls, which were very full or full tosses, he's generally just hit slightly back of a length, but this one was almost floated up invitingly, and Curran just flat batted it straight.
Goes again, this time a little shorter from Fernandez. Same result, big 6.
Well, the other end of the scale, from floating it up, he then bowls one too short, and Curran has got all the time in the world. That's a real drag down from Fernandez, who is an inexperienced cricketer and an inexperienced spinner. He is more of a batter than a bowler, so these are not circumstances that he would have been used to in his young career so far.
Oh, that might go for 6. No, just short. It's a thunderous shot up and over extra cover. 3 terrific blows from Sam Curran.
It's a beautiful shot. It's a 4 to follow the 2 6s, so less valuable, but it's a lovely shot. Just flow and timing and picking his spot as well. Just a bit wide, nobody out at extra cover. Gorgeous shot.
Rather cursed Nathan Fernandez before this over began. I said he was probably enjoying his time. 3 mighty blows. Have seen 16 off the first 3 balls of this over, the 14th.
If he thinks it's light relief after the single, the problem is he's got the right-hander now to the short side.
Well, Eskenazi is absolutely right here. The captain just going to his young bowler and slowing things down. Got your plan straight, right? Happy? Okay, now we go. Nearly made a mess of that, Milan. Oh, I've done him a disservice. It's hit a drain or something. Curran is frustrated with himself, but that's a nice way to end the over for young Fernandez. 140 for 2.
Yeah, he held his nerve there, and that's not easy. You concede 6-6-4 first 3 balls as an inexperienced spinner on debut, and to finish with a couple of singles and a dot ball, that's a pretty good effort.
Well, that previous over has pushed Surrey forwards towards 200. For that over, the current rate would take him to just under 190. That's now looking closer to 200. Cullen. Well, Sam and Tom Curran just questioning that decision from Tom Longley.
Yeah, he questioned it quite firmly, didn't he? And Longley's saying, well, it only just passed your pad, because Tom Curran had given himself, he kind of shimmied across and then gave himself room outside the leg stump, so Cullen, the bowler, gets a bit more leeway.
That might be different.
Not that much leeway.
Do you think bowlers should be given a little more leeway as a general rule?
Yes. I think there is so much loaded in favour of the batsman. You clearly can't have bowlers hiding the ball. But I've often felt, you know, when it just grazes the batsman's pad, then a bit of leeway, I'd be all for that.
Bowl that one again as well. Just starting to become a little untidy. It's a dot wide, still 5 deliveries in this over. Ooh, got away with that one in terms of a wide, but he's going to pay the penalty and go for 4. Trying to keep a very tight line at Tom Curran, make him hit to that bigger boundary, just not quite got it right.
Yeah, spears a couple down the leg side, and probably would have been a wide as well had Curran not got some bat on it. Kind of leans away much more than he used to pre-back injury.
Again, he's targeting like the thigh pad area. Only cost him a single this time.
I was mentioning in his previous over the consequence of a summer of a lot of 2020 cricket, or 2020 cricket and 100 cricket, and bowlers who bowl in the middle phase of the innings, as Cullen did, you end up kind of falling away and trying to spear it into the hips and the ribs of a batter, and you do that over a prolonged period, and that then has a little bit of impact on your action.
So you've done it for a long time. He was a lot more taller in his action, was he, prior to all of that you've just described? So he's back bowling at the right-handed Tom. Will he continue with that policy of trying to sort of hit the thigh pad? Got long on, deep mid-wicket, deep square leg, fine leg. All the fielders on the leg side, that is. No saving singles. He's going to have to bowl that one again. So 3 wides in the over. Could have had 4. There is that leg side field. There's a single if the Currans want one. No ball now. This is unravelling in this over. for young Blake Cullen.
That's the one for the over. That's the one for the over.
The other issue with a long over like this is that it tends to put a bit of pressure on the clock at the back end. You're almost bowling what, a 10 ball over or something like that. A lot of teams are tight. We've already seen a couple of games where they've been punished at the end of an innings.
Well, they got 17 minutes to bowl the remaining 4 overs and 1 ball, so they've got to get into that last over within 17 minutes.
Which of the double header was it when a team was punished? Yorkshire,
One,
I
was
think
Yorkshire. And that really cost them.
It hurt them,
really
didn't it?
did, yeah. Oh, someone's not awake.
It's a good job Eskenazi spotted that then. It was the captain at mid-wicket. He suddenly looked around in a panic and thought, I have only got 3 people inside the inner circle here. So he hurriedly called Cullen to a halt.
A slightly bizarre over, isn't it? It finishes now with a punch down the ground from Sam, 153 for 2.
Five overs to go. What can Surrey get themselves up to? Excellent partnership this with the Curran brothers. 85 from 47. 200 plus. Wickets in hand. One side shorter than the other. Left hand, right hand combination. Higgins' previous over went for 20. Oh, and you were very meticulous with your field settings, and also you were very aware of ground dimensions as captain. We've seen here Middlesex that previous over from Cullen trying to hide the ball outside leg stump, and it ends up with 4 wides down that side. Can you get too obsessed with ground dimensions and the short boundary?
Yeah, I think sometimes you can. I think that's where Surrey have actually been really impressive this evening.
Didn't sound great off the bat. He might get away with it, might not carry, it doesn't. Just a single.
Yeah, just a little bit of luck going Tom Curran's way here. Started quite slowly, and that over of 20 off the same bowler, Ryan Higgins. Trying to target the short side here into the mound stand and tavern stand area. Doesn't get any of it. But to come back to your point, Nas, you can be predictably good, you can be predictably poor. It's all determined by execution. You can see what Ryan Higgins planned to come round the wicket and tuck up Sam Curran and make him hit to the far side of the ground is a really good one, but he has to execute well. Did see Middlesex go through a really strong period of the game, build pressure, and that release of pressure came with that big over.
Full toss again.
And to use Cullen as a specific example, young bowler, still finding his feet, littered with injury as a late teenager. He does show a lot of talent. A lot of attributes that you look at as a captain and as a coach and think certainly one for the future. And when you're earmarked as that type of player, you do get put in situations that you wouldn't necessarily be put in on a normal set of circumstances. So bowling at the front end and back end of the game.
Short ball, that'll be pulled away, timed beautifully. That's 4 and 50 for Sam Curran. Captaining Surrey today and batting beautifully.
Excellent from the stand-in Surrey captain. Timed beautifully. Just 38 deliveries to get to his half century. Get the feeling that he's going to press the accelerator here and now.
Takes a single, keeps the strike, 162 for 2. Yeah, Higgins tried to follow him with the boundary that got to 50, but he just helped himself. Timed it nicely. Plays in the IPL, flight across, couple of days off, straight into action, straight into the runs. 4 overs with wickets in hand, you're thinking at least 2 a ball. That's 48 more, so it's well above 200. That's what they're thinking here now, Surrey. Middlesex need a couple of good overs. Anderson, impressive so far. 2 overs, 1 for 10. Who's your death bowler, skipper?
Yeah, I certainly would have had Martin Anderson in there for 1 of the last 4 overs. Tom Helm, certainly 2. More experienced campaigner and very, very good death bowler. Uses change-ups and Yorkers. 1 extra over, I would say Higgins.
Sounded decent off the bat, but it's the long boundary. And they have a little hug and a cuddle and get it in.
Not sure quite a hug and a cuddle. Milan is the fielder. I think it's Luke Holman he bumps into. Slower ball again. To the longer side. Both cover ground and cover each other.
So far, so good from Anderson. Just what Owen Morgan was discussing there. It's not just a case of protecting the short boundary, but delivering your skills, and that's exactly what he's done so far. Can he get out the over?
Yeah, like you said, so far he's been excellent. Good captaincy as well, good bowling, sticking with their plan.
Yeah, very good. Pick of the bowlers so far.
Very important last ball. Nas often find first and last ball. The beginning in the power play and at the death are so important. They can often take momentum into an over. It's a 100 partnership for the Currans.
Hit well. Has it hit well enough? It is. So disappointing from Anderson. It was a wide Yorker. And they end with a boundary in that over. Middlesex 172 for 2. It wasn't a bad delivery. It was wide. It was just good batting.
Yeah. That's the difference between bowling to an in batter. A guy that has just come to the crease. Down the middle of the bat. A lot today, Sam Curran. It's been excellent.
So the Curran brothers going well. Sam has 60, Tom 45, 3 overs to go. It will be Helm, the death bowler. He has 2 to go. Could well be Helm and Anderson, maybe Higgins for one. Anderson's gone so well, you might give him the extra over. We shall see. Six wide, so they're going to be tight on time. And that's why Helm's trying to get back. Extra over has to be bowled on just wides. There have been some no balls in there as well. Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. Opens the face, takes the boundary.
Continues momentum here, Sam Curran. Helm over the wicket. Curran giving himself plenty of room. The key is at the point of contact, he is very, very still. Continues to target that short side. So only needs to find the gap. He's been so impressive tonight, leading from the front. Standing captain. So we see a change in field. Long off comes up. Third goes back.
Yeah, that field tends to suggest a change in length. The moment mid-off came up and third man went back, suggested that it was going to be shorter. They've got about 5 minutes to get into that last over, otherwise the fielding regulations will change and a fielder will have to come in.
Yeah, we spoke a little bit earlier about trying to speed up the pace of play when they took their second wicket. It comes into effect now, not only building pressure, giving yourself time at the end.
Yeah, it's good bowling and good umpiring. Yeah, and it always takes longer at the end of an innings. There are fielders running everywhere, left hand, right hand, balls disappearing generally out the ground. So you have to give yourself a bit longer towards the end of an innings, otherwise you'll be in trouble with the field. Good change of pace, but well played. That was really well played. It deceived him for a fraction of a second, but he just caught up with it and put it away. 50 for Tom Curran.
It's good batting, great awareness. Fine leg is up and square leg is in the circle. He just manipulates Tom Helm's back of the hand slower ball very well. Does him a little bit in the air, but gets enough on it to get a boundary.
Tried it again this time, inside edged it onto his knee. 2 overs to go, 183 for 2. So here, do you go for your designated death bowler, or do you go for someone who's bowled well in the day that may not be bowling at the death previously?
I think now, personally, I would go with Martin Anderson, who wouldn't be earmarked as bowling his full allocation, finishing at the end.
Yeah, that's the discussion point. Before the game, maybe Helm and Higgins would be your death bowlers. But you can see there, Anderson has been the pick of the bowlers. It looks like they're going to go to their death bowlers. Higgins into the attack. Change of ends for him. He's going down to the nursery end.
Yeah, and we've seen Middlesex prescribe things a lot tonight in the power play. They chose to go full and straight, took the wicket out of the equation. Clearly the same plan.
Full toss. Mid-off, can't get in. Just let him have a couple.
Yeah, good start from Ryan Higgins. Choosing to go wide Yorker. field is set for that. Sam Curran not quite timing the ball. Seem to find a lot of gaps today, Surrey.
Toe end of the bat. Deep cover. Again, it doesn't carry. Another full toss, straight up. Can anywhere get there? The bowler says mine, and he takes the catch.
Brilliant catch from Ryan Higgins. Not an easy one by any stretch of the imagination. Goes through his follow through. It's again attempted Yorker. Results in a low full toss, running back. Steadies himself. Goes straight in. A much needed wicket for Middlesex. Tom Curran goes for 50, Surrey 186 for 3.
Yeah, it's not been a bad 15 minutes or so for the home side, Middlesex. There's been the odd boundary, but with wickets in hand, Surrey haven't got away from the opposition. It's been an over of low full tosses that have been plinked into the deep. It was another low full toss. It was in the air a long time, and Higgins said mine. So 9 balls to go. Jamie Overton comes in, the big hitting Jamie Overton, round the wicket. Higgins straight away boundary.
Well, this is a big miss. A very easy way into the game for Overton. The whole of the offside is up, bar long off. Gives him plenty of width and says welcome to the fixture.
That was excellent. Good comeback. Well, it looks like they're going to be out of time here, and the extra fielder there you can see long off coming up, so now they're only allowed 4 out. They're all out leg side. Sounded good off the bat. Will it go all the way? You bet it goes all the way. 196 for 3, 1 over to go.
Well, it's another low full toss. The big man Jamie Overton sends it to the longest side of the ground. Brilliant strike. Knows straight away, just sits back and admires.
Well, they had a decent period between overs 7 and 12. Power play was excellent for Surrey, and some momentum just added at the end of that over from Jamie Overton, who has 10 from 3 deliveries. 1 over to go, and an extra fielder has to be in, a captain's nightmare, and the bowlers. So usually they're allowed 5 out, now they're allowed 4. Arms have been waved, fielders are going everywhere.
Yeah, and an important time in the game, Nas. From a Middlesex point of view, need to stay in the game. Another big over here. Hands it over to Surrey at the halfway stage. A good over here keeps them in the game.
Everyone out leg side, so you'd expect maybe the odd ball down the leg side. Pulled away, man out there should take the catch. Yep, does comfortably. Sam Curran's innings comes to an end.
Spot on, Nas, into the wicket. short ball, making Curran target the leg side. Tom Helm, a go-to man for Middlesex at the death over the years. Gets the breakthrough, no room for Curran, no pace to work with. Blake Cullen settles underneath the catch, plays well, brilliant from the Surrey skipper, goes for 68, 196 for 4.
The 68 from 47 balls. The new batter for Surrey is number 10, Laurie Evans.
So Sam Curran will work his way up those stairs, through the long room and up into the away dressing room, where his team will await him. He'll still have plenty of work to do as captain, and probably take the new ball as well. Will Jacks, correction, Laurie Evans comes in at number 6. What a gig this is, just come in for 5 deliveries to have a bit of a hit, leg side in particular. Well, we've seen Overton target Cow corner. It is a short hit towards the tavern. The angle is taking it away from that hitting zone. Seen various bowlers do this over the year. He's changing now. He's going to go back over the wicket. Straight to deep extra. 2 wickets in the over. This is good from Helm.
Good plan, great execution. Stuck with the wide deliveries. Gives him the 2nd wicket of the over, but more importantly, the new batter will be on strike. Deep cover, deep point out. Well bowled, Tom Helm. Jamie Overton goes for 10 off just 4 deliveries. Surrey 197 for 5.
And the new batter for Surrey is number 11, Jamie Smith.
Much needed by Middlesex. A, the wickets bring in new batters, and B, just dot balls at this stage, priceless. Jamie Smith, who again will be on strike. Doesn't even bother taking guard, just stands in front of his stumps and swings as hard as he can. They want 2. He's been sent back, Laurie Evans.
Yeah, good fielding and good bowling again from Tom Helm. Middlesex have needed this. Over, only going for 2 so far, and 2 wickets. Surrey yet to capitalise on that short boundary. Skipper will be happy. 2 important balls left.
Mid-on, Higgins, yep, that's 3 wickets in the last over. This is an excellent end for Helm and Middlesex.
Evans again shifts across the stumps, very similar to Will Jack's dismissal. Ryan Higgins down in front of us at the pod and long on. Makes the catch look very simple. Laurie Evans goes for 1. Surrey 198 for 6.
New batter for Surrey, number 16, Jordan Clark.
Wicket 1, wicket 1, wicket. Very good from Helm. Can be a very difficult place to bowl, bowling at the death, but also it's a place where you can take wickets. And Helm has 3, and he's smiling now. So just the 2 singles to go with the 3 wickets. Surrey looked like they were going to stroll past 200. They need a couple to get to 200. Doesn't get it through. They don't get to 200. What an over that is from Helm. Could prove crucial at 9 o'clock this evening. That final over from Tom Helm and Middlesex. He finishes 3 for 38. Surrey finish 199 for 6.
Well, the skipper will be happy running upstairs to get his pads on. Excellent finish from Tom Helm. We've seen some high-scoring games between these 2 sides at Lord's. Over 200 posted in the last 4 games between these sides. Be a fascinating run chase.
199 for 6. Mark Butcher is with Tom Curran.
Tom, bit of back garden cricket between you and the brother there. Brilliant partnership.
Yeah, it's good fun. Nice to be out there in the middle with him, and yeah, I think we've got a pretty good score.
Was it always the plan for you to go in at number 4, or were you pretty fluid in terms of a batting order?
Yeah, it was. I was always going in at 4. Yeah, so we had a good start. Jaxie started well. Sam carried that on. Lucky, we got a decent score, I think.
And the conditions out there at the moment, do you think that's a winning score, or is there plenty of runs to be made given the short boundary?
No, there is, absolutely. It's a quick outfield as well. I thought it was a pretty good wicket, but again, 200 runs on the board. We've also got a good bowling attack. So, yeah, if we start well, hopefully there's a little bit in it up front. If we can make some early inroads, we should be in with a good game.
And as for your role then, are you playing only as a batter at the moment? The back's still not quite good enough for you to get out there and bowl?
Yeah, no, I haven't started bowling yet, so just playing as a batter at the minute. Hopefully not too far off bowling though.
Well, the batting seems to be going particularly well. Some of the shots through the offside were a joy to behold.
Thanks, yeah, it was good. I was disappointed actually. I think we left a couple out there. Sam and I could have probably kicked on quite a few dots, but again, 200 runs on the board, it's a decent score.
Okay, good stuff. Thanks for speaking with us. Back to you.
Yeah, good day so far for the Curran brothers. We'll see Sam with the ball. We won't see Tom. He's still recovering from that stress fracture. Sam Curran made 68, 50 for Tom Curran. Will Jacks at the top of the order again was excellent, 43 from 22.
Well, the Middlesex bowling line-up, good day for some, not for others. Martin Anderson, 1 for 20 in just 3 overs. But one of the more important overs from Tom Helm at the end. 20th over, just going for 3 runs.
Yeah, 4 overs, 3 for 38 for Helm. Excellent last over. So what is the equation in this London derby? Middlesex will need exactly 200 runs to win and beat Surrey. They'll need that at 10 runs per over.
Well, Surrey have posted a very, very good score here at the home of cricket, 199 for 6. It could have been so much worse for Middlesex, save for that last over bowled by Tom Helm. 3 wickets for just 3 runs. That partnership of 118 from 68 from the Curran brothers did the damage for Surrey. Middlesex need to go some with Surrey's bowling attack that they have at their disposal. But, Michael, it could have been a lot worse for Middlesex. They could have conceded 220.
Absolutely, because they were 40 for none off 4, a slightly inexperienced Middlesex attack, a short side, and then coming to the last over, you know, with a penalty of the extra man inside the circle. So psychologically, that was a very big over from Tom Helm. It's still a really good score, and Surrey have an excellent bowling attack, so I think Middlesex are up against it. But psychologically, chasing 200 much better than 220.
But you mentioned it, the field having to come up because of the slow over rate. You mentioned it earlier. It did so much damage to Yorkshire when we did their game up at Birmingham the other day, so that makes his final over even more the impressive with that less fielder out.
Absolutely, they could have been punished so badly. The combination of teams are slow these days. The pace of play has leaked into T20, or indeed T20 has kind of led the way with slow play. And obviously, you know, if you have overs like Blake Cullen bowled, which was what, an 11 or 12 ball over, that's not going to help matters because you're effectively bowling one more. So a combination of factors. I thought Middlesex fielding held up well. They're a bit ragged with the ball, but it's a pretty inexperienced attack.
Back garden cricket at its best for the Sam Curran and Tom Curran
Yeah,
partnership,
I mean,
wasn't it?
credit to Sam Curran, really. When did he get back in the country? Sunday or something. He's hardly had any time after a pretty arduous 2-month stretch in India. So to come here straight away, captain the side, lead from the front, good credit to him. And Tom Curran is just playing as a batter, so there's a bit more on it for him because he's not able to bowl normal all-rounders role. They both took a little bit of time to get going, but when they did, boy, they hit the ball powerfully.
Excuse me, an arduous 2 months, but lucrative, you would say, for him.
1.85 million. We wanted to speak to him before the start of play, but he nipped off. Just that expectation. He had a so-so tournament, didn't he, in the IPL? But I wonder whether it's so-so because of the expectations of being the most expensive player ever in the tournament. Anyway, he's doing all right for himself.
What about Eskenazi's role in this run chase? Because he needs a few runs from the championship. It might be an opportunity for him to free his arms up.
Yeah, he's been in dreadful touch, as in fact most of the Middlesex players. But I think just coming out, freeing up, they know they've got to score quickly. He's got a short side. This is his favoured form of the game. He had a very good winter. He's been highly successful in the last few years in the Blast, so a lot riding on him.
Let's join Mark Butcher.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Stephen Eskenazi out there in the middle has had a rotten old time of things with the bat in the county championship. Has a terrific record in T20 Blast cricket. 431 runs at 153 strike rate during the campaign for Middlesex last year. And Middlesex will be pinning their hopes around their captain and regaining some of that touch. Sam Curran, who is stand-in captain for Surrey in place of Chris Jordan, who is still out there in India in the IPL, has had a terrific night already with the bat, scoring his 11th T20 Blast 50, sorry, and he will open the bowling from the pavilion end. Little bit of swing to start things off. Evening, Michael.
Good evening, Butch. Joe Cracknell, who has been pushed up the order. I think they started last year with Max Holden at the top of the order, have made a tactical switch. He's a very aggressive young right-hander, gives it a dash, and they'll need to chase in 200 to win.
Surrey have won 6 out of the last 6 previous meetings in the London Derby. And teams scoring 200 and above have won the last 4 encounters here quite comfortably. So the signs are not particularly good for Middlesex, but the pitch looks a good one. There is a very short leg side boundary down towards the tavern, so it is doable.
Eskenazi been finally snapped up by a 100 franchise after an impressive few years, and did well as well in the winter down in the Big Bash. Spent most of his winter down there successfully.
Yeah, winner with Perth Scorchers. He's been overlooked, hasn't he, in the 100 the last couple of years, but has finally got himself a gig. Put down, fingertips. Oh, and a run-out chance as well. All action out there at the minute.
Well, it's an amazing bit of cricket all round this. It was almost a brilliant catch at extra cover. It was a fantastic effort as Eskenazi hit a low full toss firmly to extra cover, and then the wherewithal to sense from Gus Atkinson that there might be a run out on as well. This is fantastic cricket in the end, and Eskenazi has gone. A man who Middlesex would rely on in this run chase, probably their gun player at the top of the order, has gone swiftly. A brilliant bit of recovery cricket from Gus Atkinson at extra recovery.
Well, the big fast bowler finds himself at extra cover. Doesn't normally catch your quick bowlers there. This was a brilliant piece of athleticism just to start with, to get a fingertip to it. And the catch and throw, whilst horizontal, excellent work also to gather it in and take the stumps down. Ashkenazi goes, and that is the worst possible start for the home team. 2 for 1.
Who was that at the stumps? Was that Overton at the stumps? It was real fantastic awareness from him as well. I think it was Overton. So a combination really of Atkinson first of all, an excellent attempted catch. The throw comes in. Overton, brilliant to get to the stumps, pick that up and take the stumps off. Really good cricket all round from Surrey.
In the air. Just got to have cool heads there at the moment for Middlesex. They've lost their best player, the most productive player. Peter Milan is the new man out there, overseas South African batter. A real struggle with a knee injury in the last couple of weeks. Favours that leg side as Cracknell, and that short boundary. It's a decent way to finish the first over. 6 for 1.
I think Curran dragged his length back a bit because he saw Cracknell slightly on the charge or advancing. There he goes down the pitch, but still picks up the length quickly. Holden next at 4. Higgins, who's been going well in the championship. Holman and Simpson, maybe they'll come in the other way around, but both give it a whack left-handed. Back quite deep. Fernandez, although on debut, is a good young batter at number 9. Cullen at 11. Cullen can whack the ball as well. So they do back deep, but they've got to go some. I wonder, Butch, how close Gus Atkinson was to a test call-up. They've gone for Josh Tong, who's a promising young bowler at Worcester. No quibbles there, but I reckon Gus Atkinson was in the mix or in the shake-up when they had to call somebody extra up for the Ireland test.
Well, England senior bowlers keep getting injured. He might find his way in there anyway. And he's got some pace. Keeper Jamie Smith is a fair distance back on this sluggish early season pitch. And Atkinson, for those that haven't seen much of him before, tall, wiry bowler, makes the most of his height, has a short delivery stride, really comes over the top. Excellent flick of the wrist at the end and generates good speed. Well, that speed can disappear quickly to the boundary in T20 cricket. Milan opens his account.
Yeah, he didn't particularly time it all that well, but combination of the slope running away to the Tavern side and the short boundary gets him his first 4. A little high on the bat, but gets enough of it to get it over the infield. Oh, we saw plenty of Gus Atkinson in the championship fixture that we covered, and he's tall lad, gets a full use of his height because of that quite short delivery stride, comes right over the top with a snap of the wrist, and he's got plenty going for him.
Now got some cover there on the offside. Yeah, 14 wickets at 15 in the championship so far for Gus Atkinson. Eskinazi will rue the events that led to him being sat back there in the dugout. It's just worth having another look at the dismissal of Eskinazi from a different angle. Just see the running, there's that little hesitation there, and then he gives it up. I don't quite know what he was up to. Brilliant from first of all Atkinson, then from Overton to dive into your picture about now. But the running, the hesitation is what caused the upset, caused the dismissal, caused him to be way short of his ground. End of the second over, 12 for 1.
The ball from the pavilion ends, number 77, Sean Abbott.
Cool evening here. Sunlight fading. Sean Abbott. Whipped away down into the far corner of the ground. Milan has come out and is looking positive.
Well, they've got to take advantage of this power play. It's an obvious statement, chasing 200, but they can't afford, with the quality in this Surrey bowling lineup and Narain to come, they cannot afford to get too far behind the rate.
Sean Abbott, who's very much enjoying life at the Oval. He's the leading wicket taker in the history of the Big Bash League. A real death specialist as well. Goes at around 7.5 at the death overs.
Which game did you watch last night? Taunton, was it? Somerset?
Yeah. It was over
Low
pretty
scoring
quick.
affair, wasn't it? Opposite
Yeah.
to this. Tricky pitch or not?
Went all over the shop. Both teams are pretty surprised, I think, about the amount of movement that there was. Well, that's moved. That's moved a long way back. Ricocheting off the hospitality boxes.
Well, that's why Middlesex have moved their order around for the start of this year's Blast, to give this young man, Joe Cracknell, maximum opportunity at the start of the innings. He's a strong young fella.
Cracknell just getting himself deep in the crease, trying to access that leg side as much as possible. It's a really good strike. Comparison with the Surrey lineup, real lack of experience in the Middlesex lineup. Some talented players though. There's one thing with the short side in any cricket match, that the batters can become so preoccupied with hitting it in that direction, you forget there's another side to the ground, and it almost gives the bowlers a bigger area to bowl at. Try and keep it away from that short side. Milan will shuffle across again, no doubt. There he goes. Productive side, productive over. 14 from it, 26 for 1.
mentioned that the bat deep with all the way really to Cullen at 11. I would say stronger in batting than bowling, and Eskenazi sounded as though he quite fancied a chase, even though the stats say that batting first is the way to win in the Blast at Lords. There's evidence of that quite lively pace from Gus Atkinson.
I do feel that the Middlesex team has got a little bit full at times in the first innings. And Atkinson there has gone back of a length, and that ball has fairly zipped through to Jamie Smith behind the stumps. Keeping Max Holden up. It's quite a lot of players shared dressing rooms with who'd fall asleep before coming out to bat. Monty Lynch for one.
Famously at Lancashire, Clive Lloyd.
Viv too, apparently.
They used to just tap him on the shoulder, say you're in, and the big fella would go and clonk it all around Old Trafford. It's funny, isn't it? Some people, different characters, some are very, very uptight before they go in. Neil Fairbrother used to always be on the loo. Caught short because he was on the loo. He had to send somebody else in.
Oh, smashed away up the hill. Long way to go and doesn't have the legs. Jordan Clark backs up and pouches it comfortably. And that'll be the end of Cracknell.
Yeah, well, if he was hitting to the other side, it would have probably been another 6 for Joe Cracknell, but that boundary is much, much bigger, and he probably didn't hit it quite as well either. Picks out Jordan Clark, very safe hands, deep square leg. And Middlesex now 27 for 2, the end of Joe Cracknell for a dozen, and Max Holden in at number 4.
The new batter for Middlesex is number 4, Max Holden.
Well, Max Holden has had to wake himself up, shake off the yawns and get out there. Strike rate 130. Another talented player, Max Holden, 25 years of age, has never really fulfilled the promise, or at least not yet. Tonight would be a good time to start.
Well, he was looking leg side initially because fine leg is up inside the circle, and then a last minute change of heart sent it away down to third man, where for a moment you thought he might have been in danger because there is a man down on the third boundary, and you can see Holden just looking there, heart in his mouth, but gets away with it.
Well, that is up and over. No one at third man. And that extra pace and bounce has carried it all the way for 6. End of the 4th, 34 for 2.
Well, Milan's got off to a lively start with a couple of boundaries, 4s, and then this 6, deliberately uppercut over third man. As Butch said, it's really the pace and bounce of Atkinson that has allowed it to carry that far.
Returning to ball at the pavilion eight, number 58, Sam Curran.
Sam Curran bowled the first over of the innings. Back to bowl the penultimate one of the power play. Oh, that's huge. What a strike from Holden. Told you he's got some talent.
And he does look a better player when he puts bat to ball, actually. Middlesex had a run chase against Nottinghamshire here in the Championship, and it was the only time really that Max Holden's got going in the season. He came out in a run chase, he had to put bat to ball, and all that kind of tentativeness disappeared. And so this change of format might be good for him, just to feel that he can put bat to ball and play with a bit of freedom.
Well, one thing's for sure, it certainly makes you get into better positions, move better when you're looking to be ultra positive.
Well, that's worth looking at again, isn't it? Gives himself room and then has to reach, had to really stretch. And Stewart, our cameraman, going to put in overtime for that. What a lovely left-handed throw.
Looked like he was in need of a good bath, old Stu, up there. Again, giving himself room, looking at first to access the short boundary on the offside, but then dragging it leg side.
Lovely from Max Holden. He's got Curran under a bit of pressure this over. That drilled 6 through the offside. Again, he gives himself room. Curran follows him a bit this time, and because of the length, which is a bit short, he can sit back and pull it firmly in front of square. Skips to 12 and looks good.
A short ball used to great effect by Sam Curran in the World T20. Surprised a lot of batters with it.
I think Holden was looking for the on height or line there. I think it was fine on height, and because Holden moved himself across to off stump, but I thought the umpiring decision was fair on both counts actually. Yeah, that's all right.
Gets it this time. Curran tried to repeat the trick, and Holden got hold of it. That's a really good over for Middlesex. Brings up the 50, 50-2 from 5.
On screen now, the comparison after 5 overs. Surrey were 45 for 1. Middlesex are 50 for 2. Middlesex need another 100.
Well, Surrey got off to a very good start in their innings, thanks largely to Will Jacks. Middlesex have bettered them. Milan is 19 from 12, Holden 16 from just 6. And a change of pace and some mystery spin with the vastly experienced Sunil Narine. So leg side, he's got the protection of the bigger boundary. So much white ball experience around the world. Helps if you can pick him, but that's not always straightforward, Nas.
No, it's not, especially now that he hides that ball behind his right leg as he runs in. Well documented how he hides it there. You can't see the ball at all.
Reverse, beautifully done. Skips away for 4. Very good start to the oval.
Yeah, and if you're not sure which way it's going, he's not a massive spinner of the ball. It just goes a little bit either way. If you're not sure, get the sweep and the reverse sweep out. Get it up and over.
Now up and over, extra cover. This is excellent from Milan. So Narine and Surrey are under pressure.
They are. He's used to bowling in the power play, but he's only got 2 fielders out. And this was excellent batting, mixing it up. Didn't go for another reverse. Just went up and over, complete control.
Reverse sweeps again, gets it over again, does he? Yes, just over the head of the scampering Laurie Evans.
Yeah, for a fraction of a second, Laurie Evans thought, shall I get the dive out? And it was just drifting away from him, hitting slightly with the breeze in that direction. There he thought about diving, but it was too far away, protected the boundary.
Scampered sick. Oh, and a terrible throw. Tom Laws was the fielder. No chance of a run out because both batters went immediately. Keeper does well, actually. So 1 ball remaining of the 6th. 11 runs have come from the first 5 balls. So now we've got Holden on strike. There are fielders running everywhere. Last ball of the power play. So we've got a man on the sweep leg side, deep backward point. It's slower and a bit of bounce. 61 for 2.
Couple of wickets in the power play. It started slowly with a brilliant bit of fielding and a run out to dismiss Eskenazi after a drop catch. Good work from Overton in particular to get to the stumps. And then a couple of boundaries. The end of the power play was excellent for Middlesex. 6 went to the short boundary, then Cracknell tried it to the longer boundary and found the man out in the deep, Clark. The last 3 overs of that power play, much needed momentum from Middlesex, Holden and Milan.
Wonderful partnership between Sam and Tom Curran as Surrey made 199 for 6. So it's exactly 10 and over needed from Middlesex when they started this run chase. They kept up, just slightly ahead. Whoa, God, straight to him. Peter Milan throws his head back. Cannot believe he has picked out the fielder. He absolutely nailed that, but straight to Jamie Overton.
Yeah, his reaction was that he wanted to go a bit squarer than that. He didn't. He went straight to Overton, who's already been excellent in the field this evening. Did not have to move. Fingers pointing up. Bend your knees. Take the catch. Bowler will take it. Batter feels a little bit hard done by. Milan made 30. 61 for 3.
So Middlesex ahead of the rate, but they've lost 3 wickets now. Surrey were 58, but just 1 down after 6 over and 1 ball. Dancing down the track, Milan. Sounded sweet. And he looked happy with it initially, but it found the big hands of Jamie Overton. What a start that is. Wonderful shot, first ball from Holden. Forgive me, Higgins.
Yeah, he's been in good nick in red ball cricket. Immediately, first delivery, you can see that good balance at the crease. It looks like Middlesex have just said nothing to lose here. Every batter has come out playing their shots. Let's go out and enjoy our cricket.
Sort of have to as well when you're facing a target of 200.
Well, yeah, I thought Athers made an excellent point earlier about Holden, how he's been struggling in the game against Notts, the championship game. He went out and played his shots and put bat to ball, something what England are obviously doing in test match cricket. Go out, you get into better positions, you're in a better mindset, do get a bit carried away with technique and keeping the ball out. See ball, hit ball. How long can they do it for? Let's be honest, they have been underachievers, haven't they, in this format, in the Blast. They won it in 2008, and since then, they have the lowest win percentage out of any side, and that's by some distance. So what have they got to lose? Got to give it a go this year.
It's a valid point you make about Middlesex. You could equally throw that at Surrey. They've only won it once with all of their undoubted resources. I know they get test call up and IPL
their problem
call
is like they get to the knockout stage. There was that game against Yorkshire last year where they were bossing the game. They'd bossed the whole of the group stages, and then suddenly they fall at the knockout stage. And Athers asked the question of Sam Curran at the toss. That's their next stage, if they get there, obviously. That's timed beautifully. Just a single. He'll keep the strike. Will Holden. It's 69 for 3.
.131 more required by Middlesex. .13 overs to go. Only 4 bowlers used so far. Sam Curran's bowled a couple, Atkinson's bowled 2, and Abbott 2. Narayan is about to start his second. Swinging away, short boundary leg side, nailed it.
Excellent batting this from Holden. 24 from just 10 deliveries, 2 fours, and his second 6. Slog sweep. Perfect. Taken in the crowd? No, dropped.
Chilly night to be catching in the crowd. Field change. Sean Abbott has come into the circle on the leg side. Extra cover has been stationed on the fence. No! He's cross with himself, Max Holden. Got into a good position, just couldn't time it or place it. It's going to be a wider line from Narayan. Try and keep the left-hander away from sweeping it short boundary leg side, but he's going to give it all he can. And problems for Narayan at the minute.
Yeah, it's really good batting. It's just awareness of the field and where the fielders are. They're both up behind square on the leg side. So he shimmies across, outside off stump, to get it fine. Really good batting and awareness of the fielders.
It's quite interesting when that ball went to the boundary. We mentioned that Middlesex had to have an extra fielder back in the circle because of a slow over rate. We saw that really trouble Yorkshire up in Birmingham the other week. One of the Surrey subs sprinted round so he could throw that ball back in, just save just that little bit of time. Again, he's switching round. This time it's Higgins.
It's a bad gig, that, isn't it? The gaffer, Alec, has left you out, and then he's forcing you round the boundary to go and fetch the ball for your team. What a gig that is.
He'll have him stationed all around the boundary in a minute.
I'd be in the dressing room. Cup of tea, please.
Ooh, bit of extra bounce. 80 for 3. You always were that team man, weren't you? That's what everyone has always said who's played cricket with you. Team man, that is saying. Well, the required rate was 10 and over at the start of the chase. It still is exactly 10 and over. Three wickets down, though.
To bowl for the pavilion ends, number 30, Tom Laws.
Laws into the attack. Cool, he's given that the kitchen sink, hasn't he, Max Upton? Busy time of it for Sam Curran. A couple of months in the IPL, straight back into Surrey colours and as captain. Oh, lovely. Dancing around the crease, Max Holden, and he's really giving the Surrey bowler and Sam Curran something to think about as captain.
Think about their field positions, because everywhere they've had a man up, that's exactly where Holden has gone. Sounds like the most obvious thing to do, but often you see fine shots. We've just seen it with the wicket of Milan. Great shot in the nets, everyone says shot, and you're out, caught deep mid-wicket. What Holden's done well is hit places where the fielders aren't.
On appeal, Nigel Long is uninterested. Tight, close.
Just going down on the angle.
It's hit him again. They're going to scamper through, bowler's end. Misses.
Just had to keep an eye on his running there as well. Just had to make sure A, he had to get in, B, he didn't change direction and get in way of the throw. If he had changed direction, he'd have been given out obstructing the field. He had to run in a straight line here, but realizing it could be short.
We had to run in a straight line, but you're not allowed to run straight down the middle of the pitch, so that's fine in my opinion. Right on the line. Oh, hang on. Well, for my money, that was inside that little mark.
Your eyes are going, Ward.
Let's see.
Jofra Archer all over again.
Right on the line. We nearly had a Ben Stokes, the dive that went for four, and we now had a Jofra. It's been a solid enough start from Tom Laws so far. Just one boundary. He did bowl a wide, so 7 runs from it. Can he get out of this last ball of the 9th without conceding a boundary? He can. It's a good over. 88 for 3. It's going to be more spin. We've had 2 overs from Narayan. So spinner replaces spinner.
To bowl for the nursery end, number 9,
Will Jacks, who started Surrey's innings off extremely brightly, played some thumping shots through the offside. He's now going to give it a rip from the nursery end. That's a slow, loopy turner. He's going to try, I think, and make Holden and Higgins put the pace on the ball, perhaps. You can get the ball over spinning a bit, Holden. It's going to be harder to sweep it. Nearly.
Yeah, always going away from Abbott there on the sweep and also down the slope. And his boundary partner didn't know whether to help him with that, but then the knee got in the way. Tom Curran couldn't help out at all in the end.
First ball of the over was very slow and loopy. That was fired in. The field changes for the right-handed Higgins, as does the angle from Jacks over the wicket. Again, loopy down the ground. Has he got enough of it? Fielder steadies himself. Laurie Evans with the safe pair of hands, and Middlesex are 4 down.
Yeah, it just did not sound great off the bat, and it's quite a big hit in that direction. Will Jacks really mixing his pace up in this over. Slow, quick, quick, and then slower again. And Higgins had to drag it from outside off. Laurie Evans wasn't dropping that. He's a good fielder. The fielding has been good all evening. Higgins goes for 7, 93 for 4, Middlesex.
The new batter for Middlesex, number 56, Luke Holman.
Well, they bat deep, Middlesex, as Michael Afton was pointing out a little earlier, but they keep losing wickets. That rate can go up very quickly. A little bit of flight. Straight to Laurie Evans. So Luke Holman is the new batsman. 34 matches, just a tick under 500 runs and a strike rate just a little under 130. Another left-hander.
No!
And he's going to be sweeping as well, that short side, if he can. Thought it was clever from Will Jacks just to bowl a couple in the over so far, just a little bit slower. That's a slow one, and it's bowled him round his legs. Got too far across. What a bowling change this has been from Sam Curran. What an over from Will Jacks, 93 for 5.
Yeah, there's a few words, definitely a few words, not just there, but the moment he went past his bat and his pad, there was a bit of a send-off from Jacks. Maybe something was said when he was batting. He's been useful with the bat, he's been useful with the ball. What an evening he's having. He's a really good cricketer. And there's a bit of send-off in both directions. 10 overs gone, 93 for 5.
Well, Luke Holman had obviously done something to upset the Surrey players, because in his brief innings that lasted just 2 balls, he seemed to get them all going out there. Now Narayan, pavilion end, with this very distinctive action, and immediately is greeted by another Max Holden boundary. He's played really well this evening, 43 from 22 so far.
Yeah, perhaps the most impressive thing so far from the Middlesex batters has been how they have played Sunil Narayan. Max Holden has been exceptional. Found his feet very early in his innings. Flowing nicely.
Well, I tried to follow Holden, but followed him a bit too far and concedes a wide. So we were talking off air a little bit about your experiences with Sunil Narayan at KKR.
Yeah, boy.
Bowled him. Holden trying to sweep. He's played very effectively this evening, but that's one sweep too many. Narayan strikes, Middlesex 6 down.
Well, this is the skill of Sunil Narayan. 1 for 27 so far. Finds a way of taking a wicket. Never seems to get too phased. Hasn't had a best of night with the ball. Gets the big wicket of Max Holden for 43. Middlesex 98 for 6.
So whilst the batters are changing, obviously you played with him. How much did you face him in the nets, both pre the change and post?
Well, quite a lot actually at the very beginning, back in 2012 and 13. Faced him a lot, and then came to my senses in 2021-22. Didn't face him at all. Every time I turned around, the stumps were on the floor. I was getting hit on the pad. He is just exceptional. High level of skill. Never seems to get phased. One of his super strengths is when he does take a wicket, he has this great ability to go bang bang, takes 2 or 3, because picking the mystery of Sunil Narayan coming in cold is very difficult.
And he has 2 new batters in. So this is a perfect scenario for Narayan now. Simpson and Anderson both in, yet to face. Simpson, Anderson just 1 ball. And that's the kind of situation that Narayan can induce, because he's a wicket taker in this middle phase.
Yeah, when you look at the way Holden and Higgins played him, he had a clear plan: sweep, reverse sweep, look to use his length as much as possible. And I'm a massive believer in the better the bowler you come up against, the more positive you have to be. And when he does take 1 or 2 wickets, new batters are reluctant to take on that risk. So it's going to be interesting to see how Simpson and Anderson go about their business. Is it a team modus operandi against Narayan, or is it just individually based?
And when you played with him, was there a particular player within the tournament that seemed to play him especially well?
Nobody at the very beginning. He was unbelievably skillful and effective. And a huge part of Calcutta's championship win back in 2012-13. Middlesex 100 for 6.
So they've just slipped slightly behind the rate now. It's just gone up to a nudge over 11s. It started at 10s. They've effectively tried to keep up with the rate for the first half of this innings, which they've done pretty well. The problem is that they've lost wickets, 6 of them now. Will Jacks actually bowled an excellent first over. It was a very brave over. His first ball just floated out very invitingly, but what he did well in that first over was change the pace. He didn't let the batsman settle. He didn't bowl consistently. He changed his pace, varied it every ball, and kept them guessing. And then gave Luke Holman a mighty send-off, which seemed to get everybody going out there. There was a bit on the game actually in the championship when Ryan Higgins came out to bat. They all went off on one, the Surrey players. Always a bit of spice between these 2 London clubs. Anderson dislocated his finger right at the start of the game, the very first over actually, and that's why he's just feeling that finger now. Don't know how it will affect his batting.
Yeah, he is a player that looks to stand tall and play straight. Just inspecting how his finger is holding up. Yeah, always a bit of spice. Battle of the River.
Sweat firmly. You've disgraced yourself, of course, now by moving south of the river, living in, well, some posh area down south now.
I can't remember the name of it. Really good shot here from John Simpson. Middlesex continuing to sweep the Surrey spinners.
Well, he's a good hitter of the ball. He's quite a slight figure, really, John Simpson. Doesn't look particularly well built, but he strikes a ball. Do I have a memory of him in the long hitting contest here, beating you and Brendan McCullum?
Yeah, lost out that one.
108 for 6. Well, it's a big ask for Middlesex. 92 from 48. Narayan bowling his last. Well, there's an example of that power that we talked about.
He normally controls his length beautifully. Sunil Narayan, this just stands up to be hit.
Narayan does well, realizing that he was the one that had to track back and pick that up, otherwise he might have conceded a couple. Bowled him, it's through him, just a little quick as Anderson looked to work to the leg side off the back foot, and Middlesex 7 down.
Well, he's pulled this back beautifully as Sunil Narayan. Expensive first 2 overs, but has picked up another wicket. Mystery spin, traditional off spinner, playing all the way across it, and again not too animated. Anderson goes for 4. Middlesex 114 for 7.
New batter for Middlesex, number 18, Nathan Fernandez.
Well, it's tricky to pick, kind of hides the ball and then you're not quite sure what is coming down, and it was just through Anderson as he looked to work to leg. So Nathan Fernandez, young 19-year-old, on debut, bowled perfectly decently in the first half of this game, getting quite an opportunity now with still 7 overs and a couple of balls remaining.
Yes, Gus. Sonny.
Very good from Narayan. He finishes 2 for 37 from his 4. Surrey have continued to pick up wickets in this middle phase of the innings. 4 have gone in the last 4 overs, and that's really set Middlesex back. It's not the rate, it's a stiff rate, but it's not unsurmountable for teams in this day and age, but 7 down makes it very tricky.
Yeah, a huge ask from here, 82 from 41 deliveries. Will Jacks continuing and bowling into the short boundary. Middlesex haven't seemed to play him that well. And actually, surprising thing about both batting sides has been how little they've managed to target that shorter side. Batting first traditionally has worked here. Tonight, it looks like the same. Yeah, it looks like history will repeat itself. Tall ask for these two. Simpson very capable, Fernandez inexperienced.
Oh, he's bowled him, yorked him effectively, and what a good time of it Will Jacks is having. He played really well at the top of the order in the Surrey innings, got them off to a flyer. He now has 3 for 16 and has done for Nathan Fernandez with a full ball that just crept under the bat.
It's completely done for length. So effective tonight, Will Jacks.
Nathan Fernandez bowled by Will Jackson.
Fernandez goes for 2. Middlesex still need 81 from 38 balls.
Number 7, Tom Helm.
Well, it's a grim card now for Middlesex after the bright work from Holden and to a lesser extent Milan earlier in the innings. Wickets have really tumbled, principally to Will Jacks, who has come on, he's varied his flight, varied his length, now has 3 for 16, and Tom Helm comes in at number 10, just Blake Cullen to come. Middlesex with a mountain to climb.
We have a call for James Daly to report to the head steward's office under the mound stand, please. James Daly, head steward's office under the mound stand.
Chase.
Gone, 128 for 8.
Well, Surrey made 199 for 6 in their 20 overs. The Curran brothers played beautifully. Will Jacks got them off to a flyer with 43. And for the first, well, 10 overs, Middlesex were up with the rate, but wickets have tumbled. And now they need 80 from the final 6 overs, but only got a couple of wickets left. Simpson has Helm for company and then Cullen, and that is it. It is a very strong Surrey bowling lineup. And when you consider that Jordan is at the IPL and could and would be here skippering the side, and Reece Topley is injured, gives you some idea of the strength in depth and the riches Surrey have to choose from. It is a very strong squad, top of the championship and looking good. Going to start the blast with a win.
Yeah, that'll be a wide. Very impressive squad, building on the success that they had in the group stages of the Blast last year. It looks really promising and well planned and thought out. Very balanced side. And I think a good indication into that was the call they made on Jason Roy pre-game. A little bit of a niggle in his calf. Makes a decision a lot easier when you have strength and depth in your squad. when you don't and you're hunting a win or need that experience more so than ever, lean towards making bad decisions.
Simpson trying to go down the ground, not big enough. The boundary is in quite a distance straight in any case, and Simpson does have the power to breach it, but not on this occasion. So he holds out, and Middlesex are 9 down. Can't have hit it out of the middle because he is a big hitter, Simpson, but he's a long way short there. So Middlesex 122 for 9, still 78 adrift from the target. Simpson goes for 15 from 11.
The new batter for Middlesex, number 19, Blake Curran.
.78 from 33.
Cullen over the offside and gets his account underway with a firmly struck boundary. He's quite a talented batter, actually, Blake Cullen. He's certainly better than a number 11 and has a chance here. He's still got the best part of 6 overs to show what he can do and find a bit of form. Should be out. Overton safely taken. Safely taken at long on, and Surrey have comprehensively beaten Middlesex here at Lord's this evening. It was a rapid decline from Middlesex. They were going quite nicely at 61 for 2 and 93 for 3. But as has often been the case in this season, that collapse was just around the corner. So 126 all out, a comfortable victory for Surrey. They do look a powerhouse side with a lot of talent all the way down and a lot of talent to come in the side as well. That's the final moment, with Overton taking a safe catch out at long on. Right. Just got it between forearm and his gut, but it was safely taken in the end. So a winning start for the stand-in captain Sam Curran, just back from IPL, batted superbly along with brother Tom, Will Jacks, who gave them a flyer, and that 199 for 6 was always likely with that bowling attack to be a winning score.
Or to Warwick Avenue on the Bakerloo.
Well, it could be a long campaign for Middlesex. Last year they began their blast campaign with 3 successive victories, but then rather struggled in the second half of the competition. On paper, you'd say they'll do well to challenge to get into the quarterfinals this time around, but we shall see. Reasonably early finish here then at Lord's. The floodlights are on, but the sun has barely gone down. Blue skies still ahead because Surrey have won this game with the best part of, well, 6 overs to spare, effectively 5 overs and a ball to spare. So they've not really been stretched this evening. Surrey decided to bat first. The stats say that blast games here at Lord's favour the team batting first, and that's the way Surrey went, putting a score on the board and then putting Middlesex under pressure with that excellent bowling attack. Will Jacks 3 for 17. He excelled with bat and ball this evening. That was the Middlesex reply. It didn't start well because a lot is on Eskenaz's shoulders as the key batter in this side, but he was run out brilliantly by a combination of Atkinson and Overton. Milan and Holden played well between them. Milan 30 from 18 and Holden an eye-catching 43 from 23. But once those two went, there was precious little else, and Middlesex declined from 93 for 3 to 126 all out. Top class attack. Gus Atkinson is a bowler to keep your eye on, 3 for 20 from him. And Will Jacks with 3 for 17 from his 3 overs. Sunil Narine always in the wickets, 2 for him. So Surrey 199 for 6, Middlesex 126 in reply. The London derby won by Surrey, 73 runs the margin.